Hey everyone, I really don't know how to start this, but I just need to get it off my chest. I'm David, 34, married to Megan for 8 years. We've got 2 kids, a 6-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. Things were good. I mean really good. You know, the kind of relationship where you think you've got it all figured out. I never thought I'd have to deal with something like this. Infidelity was one of those things that happened to other people, never me. But lately, I don't know, something feels off. It started small. I didn't think much of it at first. Megan's always been a social person, always out with friends or busy with work. But then it got a little more than just a few nights out here and there. She'd start coming home late, sometimes not even telling me where she was. When I'd ask, it was always some vague answer, like just meeting some people from work, or just grab dinner with some friends. The problem is, I didn't know who these people were. I'd never heard of them. The first real red flag came one night when she was on her phone. I didn't think she noticed, but I caught a glimpse of a text notification. Nothing too weird, just a name I didn't recognize. I tried to brush it off, but it kept happening. Text after text. Sometimes she'd leave the room to answer them. That wasn't like her. Megan's always been open with her phone. She's never cared if I saw who was texting her or whatever. But now she was being secretive. Hiding her phone when I walked by. Always locking it when she wasn't using it. It was like a switch flipped, and it was subtle at first, but over time it didn't sit right with me. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. But my gut kept telling me something was wrong. She'd get defensive if I brought it up too. Like, really defensive. Why do you need to know who I'm texting? She'd snap. I don't ask you who you're talking to all the time. It stung, honestly. I mean, I wasn't asking her to explain every message. But the sudden shift in her behavior, it felt like something was off. She'd never been like this before. We've always been open. I tried to keep calm, but every little thing she did just kept piling up. I hate that I've come to this point, but I don't know what else to do. I haven't said anything to her yet. I don't know if I'm crazy or if I'm just being paranoid, but I feel like she's pulling away. She doesn't seem interested in our relationship the way she used to. Our conversations feel more like small talk. I used to get home from work, and we'd talk about our day, about the kids, about our plans. Now it's just nothing. She's either busy with something else or just distant. Cold, even. I've started to wonder if I'm just some kind of fool. What if I'm just imagining all of this? I keep going back and forth, but I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. But here's the thing, I don't want to confront her about this. Not yet. I can't bring myself to do it. I know what's coming if I do. She'll deny everything, probably flip it on me, tell me I'm paranoid, make me feel like I'm the one who's crazy. So for now, I'm keeping it to myself. But I can't stop thinking about it. Something's going on, and I need to know what. I don't even know why I'm posting this here. I guess I just need to talk about it. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Maybe advice. Maybe just someone to tell me I'm not losing my mind. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Something feels off, and I'm trying to figure out what to do next. Okay, so this is getting worse, and I don't even know where to start. I've been sitting on this for a few days, but I can't keep quiet anymore. My gut is screaming at me, and honestly, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. Every day, I find more signs, more things that make me question everything. So, after I posted last time, I decided to try and find out more without directly confronting her. I know, it's shady. But I couldn't help myself. I kept thinking maybe I was just overreacting, so I needed some proof, some reason to trust my gut, or to tell me I was crazy and just imagining things. I started with her phone. I didn't plan on going through it, but one night she left it on the kitchen counter while she went to take a shower. My heart was racing, but I grabbed it. I told myself I'd just check the messages, see who she'd been texting. Just a peek. I knew I was crossing a line, but I didn't care at that point. I don't even know how to explain what I found. It was just more. So much more. There were messages from this guy I didn't recognize, but what got to me was how familiar they sounded. Like they were close. Not just a hey, how's your day, or anything normal like that. I mean, the messages were flirty. The kind of thing you say when you're not worried about getting caught. They talked about meeting up after work, about how they missed each other, and how they couldn't wait for their next date. I'm not talking about casual stuff here. It was personal. The kicker? The guy sent her a picture of himself, shirtless in some hotel room, smiling all smug like he just won a prize. And Megan, she didn't even hesitate to reply with a heart emoji. I almost threw up when I saw it. How could she? I put the phone down quickly, like I'd just been caught. But here's the thing, I didn't feel rage. Not right away. I felt sick. Sick. Like someone punched me in the gut and left me there, gasping for air. I stared at the phone for what felt like hours. I didn't know what to do with this information. Was I supposed to feel angry? Or hurt? I felt numb. And guilty. Like somehow I was the bad guy for looking in the first place. I couldn't just sit there. I got up, went outside, and took a walk. I had to breathe. But when I got back, Megan was there, acting normal. Like everything was fine. She didn't even notice I was off, or if she did, she didn't care. She didn't say anything. But I knew. I knew everything I needed to know now. I told myself I'd confront her, that I'd call her out on it. But that's when the self-doubt started kicking in. What if I was misinterpreting things? What if the guy was just a friend? What if she was just joking around? Maybe I was reading too much into it. My mind was racing, and I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that I'd already crossed a line by looking at her phone. Maybe this was my fault too. So, I did nothing. I sat on it. I kept pretending everything was fine, kept going through the motions. But inside, I was falling apart. Every time she'd make a random excuse to go out, "Oh, I have dinner with Jessica tonight," my stomach would twist into knots. Every time she'd check her phone and smile like there was some private joke between her and whoever was texting her, I could feel my blood boil. The lying's not even the worst part. It's the coldness. The way she's just turned off. There's no warmth in her anymore. She's distant. I don't know when it happened, but it's like I'm living with a stranger. I keep looking at her and wondering, who the hell is this woman? I want to confront her so badly. I want to throw this all in her face, show her I know the truth. But I'm scared. I'm scared that she'll twist everything, make me feel like I'm the one in the wrong. And I'm terrified of what'll happen after. If I'm wrong, I'm the asshole. If I'm right, then what? Do I just pack up and leave? I don't know what to do. I just feel so lost. I know I can't keep living like this, but I don't know if I'm ready to pull the trigger yet. So I'm sitting here, waiting for the next thing to happen. I'll update soon, but I'm seriously stuck right now. Does anyone have advice? Okay, so, things have escalated. I wasn't expecting this to get worse so fast, but here we are. I've officially got all the confirmation I need. The gut feeling I've had for weeks? Yeah, it was right. Megan's cheating. I didn't want to believe it at first. I really didn't. But at some point, it becomes impossible to ignore reality. After I found those texts on her phone, I didn't feel any better. In fact, it was like a heavy weight just sitting on my chest. I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that I had to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I couldn't shake that feeling in my stomach every time I looked at her. Every time she walked out the door to meet her friends or colleagues, I could hear this little voice in the back of my head telling me it was a lie. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. I know. It's probably the worst thing I could have done, and it feels like a betrayal in itself, but I just couldn't do nothing anymore. I couldn't keep pretending like everything was okay. I needed to know the truth, the full truth, not just the hints and half answers I'd been getting from her. I was so ashamed of myself for doing it, like I was some kind of stalker or something, but honestly, once I got the investigator involved, it felt like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I wasn't doing this alone anymore. Someone else was watching. Someone else could tell me what was really going on. It didn't take long before the investigator found something. Of course, Megan wasn't as careful as she thought. She really believed she could keep everything hidden, but the truth has a way of coming out, no matter how hard you try to bury it. The guy she's been seeing? His name is Luke. He's one of her work colleagues. That's the excuse she'd been using every time she went out late, every time I asked about where she was. Turns out, Luke isn't just some colleague. He's been to our house. I don't know if she knows I know that part yet, but the investigator got photos of him walking into our driveway a few times, late at night. He parked down the street, which, I guess, is supposed to make it all less suspicious? But now I see it. I see everything. And the worst part? The investigator followed them to a hotel last week. Yeah, you heard that right. A hotel. The same hotel I saw on that receipt in her phone. She didn't think I'd ever find out, but of course I did. I'm not an idiot. I don't know why, but I guess I was holding out hope. Some part of me was hoping that maybe the investigator was wrong, that maybe it was all just a misunderstanding. But nope. They checked in together. The investigator got video of them going into the hotel hand in hand, laughing like they were on some romantic getaway. No kids. No work friends. Just Luke and Megan, getting a room for the night. And that's when I realized, this wasn't a fling. This wasn't some random mistake. She's been seeing him for months, at least. This is a full-blown affair. I don't know what hurt more, seeing it with my own eyes, or knowing that she'd been lying to my face all this time. I'm not mad. I mean, I am, but mostly, I just feel numb. I feel like everything I thought I knew about her, about our life together, has just been ripped away. I keep thinking back to the little things that now seem so obvious. The way she'd pull away from me when I touched her, the way she stopped telling me about her day, the way she'd just disappear. And I let it slide. I told myself I was just being paranoid. But I wasn't. So now I have all the proof. But here's where I get stuck. What the hell do I do with it now? Do I confront her? Do I drag her out of the house, lay everything out on the table, and demand answers? Or do I just let her keep lying, keep playing this game until I can't stand it anymore? I've been sitting here with these photos, the video, the receipts. I keep staring at them like maybe there's some way I can unread it, unsee it. But I can't. It's real. I feel like I'm losing my mind, guys. I don't even know if I'm angry anymore. I just feel broken. I feel stupid. I feel like I've wasted years of my life with someone who was never really there. Part of me wants to explode. To shout, to scream, to throw everything in her face and demand an explanation. But another part of me feels like I'm not ready for that. Like I can't take the fallout yet. I don't even know what I'm asking here. I just need to vent. I need someone to tell me I'm not crazy, that this is all normal and that I'm not losing my grip on reality. So, I guess that's where I'm at. I've got the proof, and now I have to decide what to do with it. So, I've been sitting with this for a few days now, and I keep going back and forth on what to do next. The investigator gave me everything I needed: photos, videos, receipts. It's all right in front of me. I know Megan is cheating, and the fact that I've had this info for a few days is honestly eating me up inside. I feel like I should be more angry, like I should be ready to confront her and just throw it all in her face, but I'm not. I'm just sad. Heartbroken. I never imagined I'd be in this position, staring at pictures of my wife with another guy, seeing her laughing with him like she's never laughed with me. It's like I'm watching someone else's life, not mine. I keep thinking about the kids. They're too young to know anything, but still. I can't help but wonder how all this will affect them. And what happens if I leave? Will they blame me for breaking up the family? Or worse, will they blame me for not noticing sooner? Maybe they'll just be confused and hurt. But at the same time, the idea of living in a lie, pretending everything's fine while I'm holding all this inside? I can't do it. I can't just stay here and act like I'm fine, like I haven't seen everything I've seen. I've also been thinking about Megan's reaction. I know how she is. She'll lie. She'll try to gaslight me, twist everything around. She's always been good at making me doubt myself when I get upset. And part of me is scared that I'm going to confront her, lay out the truth, and she'll turn it around on me. She'll make me feel like I'm the one who's crazy for snooping, for questioning her. I can already hear the excuses she's going to throw at me. Oh, you don't understand, it's not like that. Or it was a mistake, it didn't mean anything. But it did mean something. She's been lying, and I don't think there's any coming back from that. I know I can't keep pretending I don't know. But I don't feel ready to face her yet. Part of me wants to just pack up and leave while she's not looking, disappear before she has the chance to turn everything back on me. But that's cowardly, isn't it? I'm not some teenager who can just run away from problems. I have to face it. I guess, at the end of the day, I'm just scared. Scared of her reaction. Scared of what'll happen to us, to the kids. Scared of losing everything I thought I had. But I can't keep living in this limbo. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by dragging this out, but I can't ignore it anymore. Something's got to give. Anyway, I'll update again when I can actually figure out what the hell I'm doing. Alright, I've finally done it. I've confronted her. I don't know if I did it the right way or if I even did it at the right time, but I couldn't take it anymore. I just had to know if she was going to keep lying to my face or if she was finally going to own up to what she's been doing. It happened last night. Megan came home late from dinner with friends. Yeah, that same excuse again. I'd been sitting there for hours, just staring at the photos and video, thinking about how I was going to do it. Should I be calm? Should I yell? Should I throw the evidence in her face and watch her squirm? In the end, I just sat her down and laid it all out. I didn't make it a big dramatic thing. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. I just said, we need to talk. I know what's going on. I know about you and Luke. Her face went blank for a second. And I swear to God, I could almost hear her heart stop. She didn't say anything for a moment. Just stared at me, probably trying to figure out how to lie her way out of it. But I wasn't having it. I showed her everything, the photos, the video, the receipts from the hotel. It felt so surreal, like I was watching someone else's life unfold. But there it was. The truth. Right in front of her. And you know what she did? She denied it. I'm not even kidding. She denied everything. Said I was overreacting and paranoid. She told me I was being unreasonable and that I had no right to invade her privacy like that. I couldn't believe it. I thought, is she seriously still lying to me, even with all of this proof? But here's the kicker. As she kept talking, I could see the cracks. She was stumbling over her words, her eyes shifting. She couldn't look me in the eye for long. It was like she was trying to come up with a story, but she was getting caught up in it. And then finally she said it. You don't understand. He's just a friend. Nothing happened. It's not like you think. That was when I snapped. A friend? A friend? I wanted to scream, but I just shook my head. A friend? Really? You think I'm that stupid? She started crying then, real tears or maybe fake ones, I don't know. But I could tell she was panicking. She kept saying how sorry she was, how it was a mistake, how it didn't mean anything. But I wasn't hearing it anymore. I didn't care. The truth was right there in front of me. And no amount of excuses was going to take it back. I felt so empty. Like I wasn't even looking at the woman I'd married anymore. I was looking at a stranger. The woman who'd promised to love me, to be faithful, to be there for me and the kids. It was all a lie. I don't even know if I'm mad at her anymore. I'm just done. I didn't even yell. I didn't even throw it in her face. I just stood up, walked away, and said, I'm done. We're done. And honestly, it felt like a weight was lifted. But also, it felt like I'd been gutted. My whole world just crumbled in front of me. I never thought I'd be here. This wasn't supposed to happen. Megan didn't even try to stop me. She didn't beg me to stay or promise to change. She just sat there crying, while I packed a bag and left. I don't know where this is going, but I can't stay in that house with her anymore. I need space. I need to figure out what to do next. And as much as it hurts, I know I can't fix this. I can't trust her anymore. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'm going to get a divorce or if I'll ever be able to forgive her. But I do know one thing, I'm not going to keep living in this lie. I need to focus on me, on my kids, and on figuring out how to rebuild my life. I don't know if that makes me weak or strong, but it's what I have to do. I've spent the last few days trying to wrap my head around everything. Honestly, I'm still in shock. I knew what I had to do, but now that it's done, I feel like I'm floating. I don't even know where to start picking up the pieces of my life. I can't stop replaying that moment in my head, when I told her we were done. We're done. It was the right thing, I know it was. But man, the aftermath has been harder than I thought. Megan's been texting me non-stop, trying to explain herself, but I haven't replied. I'm not ready for that conversation yet. Part of me wonders if she even knows what she's apologizing for. Like, does she actually feel bad? Or is she just panicking because she's been caught? Either way, I'm not interested in hearing it. I've been staying at a buddy's place for now. I didn't want to go back to the house, not with her there. Honestly, I'm just trying to keep things normal for the kids. They're confused, of course, asking where I've been. I hate that they're caught up in this, but I'm doing my best to explain it without getting too deep into the details. They don't need to know the ugly truth right now. I don't want them to see me like this, broken, angry, unsure of what's next. But here's the thing I wasn't expecting. I don't feel free yet. I thought after confronting Megan, I'd feel like I was shedding this weight, like I could finally breathe. But instead, I just feel lost. Like I'm stumbling around in the dark, trying to figure out what my life looks like now. I don't even know if I want to fix things with Megan. But I also don't know if I'm ready to let go completely. It feels like a part of me is still holding on to the life we had. I keep thinking about the future, about how much this is going to change. Am I ready to start over? Will I ever trust anyone again? Will I ever believe in love the way I used to? Right now, I'm just taking it day by day. I'm trying to focus on what's best for the kids, and what's best for me. But this whole thing, finding out the truth, having my heart shattered, watching my marriage fall apart, it's all still so raw. I don't know where this will go, but I can't keep waiting around. I need to move forward, even if I don't know exactly what that looks like. I just wish I had some clarity. Some direction. For now, I guess I just keep breathing and try to figure out what happens next. I didn't think it would be like this. The fallout from confronting Megan has been, well, honestly, it's been worse than I expected. And that's saying a lot, considering how bad I knew it would be. Megan keeps calling, texting, showing up at my buddy's place when I don't answer. At first, I ignored her, thinking maybe if I just didn't engage, she'd leave me alone. But she's relentless. She keeps begging for a real conversation, says she's sorry, and that it wasn't what I think. She says she'll do anything to fix this. But the thing is, I don't even know if I want to fix it. I think I'm still in a daze about everything. I keep asking myself, how did we get here? How did I miss all the signs? I feel stupid for not seeing it sooner, for not trusting my gut, for thinking she was too good to cheat. Megan's latest tactic has been showing up at the house, trying to talk for the kids' sake. I don't even know what to say to her anymore. Part of me wants to yell at her, tell her she's ruined everything, but I'm just too tired. I can't keep fighting with her. She says she wants to save the family, but the truth is, I'm not sure I want to save this family anymore. The family she's been lying to. The family she's been betraying. I'm starting to feel the weight of what this means for the kids. They don't understand why things are changing, why I'm not at home, why mom's so upset all the time. I've had to talk to them more than I wanted to, keep things as normal as possible. But how do you explain to your kids that their mom is the reason everything's falling apart? I'm trying to stay strong for them, but every time I see them look at me with those big eyes, it makes my chest tighten. They don't deserve this. None of us do. And I'm so angry at Megan for putting us all in this position. I never imagined I'd be the guy who has to explain to his kids why their mom messed up our whole life. As for Megan, she's been spinning the whole thing. She says I misunderstood the situation, that she's not the same person anymore, and that she's willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. But I don't know how to believe her. Every time she talks, I just hear more excuses. The more she talks, the less I care about what she says. I don't even know what I want anymore. A part of me is still holding out hope that somehow we can work through this. But a bigger part of me is saying, you don't owe her anything. She's already taken enough from me. The days are blending together now. I'm getting through the motions, but I don't feel like I'm actually living. I just feel numb. The thing I keep coming back to is, can I ever trust her again? If I stay, can I ever look at her the same way? And if I leave, can I handle the mess that'll come with it? Right now, I'm stuck. I know I can't keep living in limbo, but I don't have the strength to make a decision yet. I guess I just need some time to figure this out. I think I'm finally starting to see things for what they really are. Megan's been trying to wear me down, asking for one more chance, saying everything will change, that she'll prove herself to me. And I can see right through it now. It's all just talk. It's all part of the same manipulation, the same excuses. I used to believe her when she said we were fine, when she promised everything was okay. But now, with all the lies laid out in front of me, I see how she's been playing me. It's painful, honestly. The worst part is realizing I've been living in a version of our life that wasn't real. Everything I thought was solid, our family, our future, our love, was built on a lie. And it hurts more than I thought it would. I'm not angry anymore. Well, not as angry as I was at first. Anger burns out after a while, and what's left is just this deep sadness. I've spent the last couple of days just trying to process all of it. Trying to figure out what I do next. Do I try to salvage what's left of our marriage? Or do I cut my losses and move on? I talked to a lawyer last week. It wasn't easy. I don't want to drag this out. I don't want to fight over custody, or property, or any of that stuff. But I also know I can't stay in this relationship. I don't trust her anymore. And without trust, what's left? Megan doesn't know I've seen the lawyer. She doesn't know what I'm thinking. She's still calling and texting, but it's starting to feel more like background noise now. I'm just so tired of it. I think deep down, I know I can't keep going like this, even for the kids. They'll be fine, eventually. They're strong, and I want them to grow up knowing that I won't tolerate being treated like this. I want them to know they deserve better. But I can't help but feel guilty. I've been so focused on my own hurt that I haven't even considered how she feels, though honestly, she doesn't deserve any sympathy from me. I think part of me feels guilty for not trying harder to save it. Even after everything, I feel like I'm failing in some way. The truth is, I just don't know if I'm strong enough to leave. Every time I think I'm ready to move on, something holds me back. Maybe it's the idea of starting over. Maybe it's the fear of being alone. Maybe it's the kids, or maybe it's just the fear of change. But at the same time, staying in this marriage feels like I'm just putting off the inevitable. I can't keep living in this lie. I guess, at this point, I'm not looking for answers anymore. I know what I have to do. I just need the strength to do it. I'm just trying to get through each day, one at a time. Maybe once I've had a little more space to breathe, I'll know what my next step is. But for now, all I can do is keep moving forward. Even if I don't know where I'm going. I think I'm finally realizing that there's no way back. No matter how many times Megan apologizes or tells me how much she regrets everything, it doesn't matter. She's already crossed a line that can't be erased. And honestly, the more she tries to convince me that she's changed, the less I believe her. I'm starting to see her for who she really is now, and it's hard to accept. I never thought I'd be here, feeling like the person I married was someone else entirely. It's almost like a slow-motion train wreck. I can't look away, but I can't stop the crash either. I don't know why I keep waiting for her to somehow wake up and realize what she's done. Maybe it's because I keep holding on to this hope that deep down she didn't mean to hurt me. That somewhere beneath all the lies and betrayal, she's still the woman I thought I knew. But that's just it, she's not. She's not the same person. The truth is, I'm starting to get angry again. Not just at her, but at myself. For letting this happen. For not standing up for myself sooner. For ignoring the warning signs, even when my gut was screaming at me. How could I have been so blind? How could I have trusted her with everything? I hate feeling like this. I don't want to be this bitter, angry version of myself. But it's hard not to be when you've given so much to someone, only to find out they've been lying to your face for months. Maybe even years. We had a conversation a few days ago, more like her talking at me while I just sat there numb. She asked me if I still love her, like that was supposed to make everything okay again. As if love alone could fix this. She said she'd do anything to make things right, but she couldn't tell me what making things right would even look like. I just told her, I don't know anymore. I don't know if I love her anymore. I don't know if I even want to love her after everything that's happened. And that's the hardest part. The not knowing. The not knowing if I can ever forgive her. Not knowing if I can look at her the same way. The uncertainty of whether this broken marriage is worth fixing, or if it's time to walk away for good. I keep thinking about what comes next. Do I stay and try to rebuild, knowing that trust is gone? Or do I leave, and try to put myself and the kids first? I want to move forward. I know I can't keep living in this toxic mess, but it's hard to imagine life without her, even after everything. Part of me just wants to end the pain. Cut ties, move on, and start fresh. But I know it's not that simple. I'm still stuck in this limbo. Every day feels like a tug-of-war between holding on to what I thought we had and letting go of everything I've worked for. I know what I need to do, but the fear of making that final decision, the fear of losing everything for good, is holding me back. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. I don't know what's coming next. But I do know one thing for sure, I can't keep pretending this isn't happening. I think I'm finally starting to feel some clarity, but it's not a relief like I thought it would be. It's more like the weight of a decision that has to be made, even if you don't feel completely ready for it. The thing is, I don't want to keep holding on to something that's already dead. I've been lying to myself, telling myself I can fix it, telling myself things will somehow go back to normal. But it's been months now, and every day that passes feels like I'm just going through the motions. I've been seeing a therapist, just to help me process everything. Honestly, it's been a lifeline. Talking to someone outside of all this mess has helped me see things more clearly. It's like everything I've been holding inside, every question, every doubt, every piece of anger, I can finally let it out without feeling like I'm losing control. I've realized something important. I've been scared to let go. Scared of being alone. Scared of the mess that will come with divorce. Scared of how it will affect the kids. But I can't let that fear be the reason I keep dragging this out. Megan came over last night, trying again with the "we need to talk" routine. She says she's changed, that she's going to therapy too, that she's working on herself. But I'm just done. I don't believe her anymore. I've heard it all before, and it's too little, too late. The hardest part is knowing that I can't take back the trust one gave her. That's gone. That's shattered. And honestly, it's not something you can rebuild with empty words and promises. Trust is earned, not begged for. And she's had plenty of chances to prove herself, but she didn't. She chose him. I told her last night that I'm not interested in working on things anymore. I told her I want a divorce. She cried. Of course she did. She begged me not to leave, said she'd do whatever it takes to fix things. But in my head, I was already checked out. I've been checked out for a while now. I could feel her desperation. She told me she's sorry, that it was a mistake. She said she wants us to get back to how we were, but she doesn't get it. We can't go back to that. It doesn't exist anymore. And I'm so tired of hearing it. I told her I couldn't do this anymore, and I meant it. It's been a long time coming. A part of me feels relieved to finally say it out loud. To finally stop pretending like there's hope when there's none left. But another part of me is terrified. The reality of it is setting in. This is happening. There's no going back now. I've been thinking about how I'll tell the kids. How I'll explain this mess to them. It kills me. I don't want them to think they did anything wrong. I want them to know this wasn't their fault. But I know this is going to hurt them. I don't think there's any way around that. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if Megan and I will ever speak again. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive her. But right now, all I know is that I need to move forward, with or without her. I can't keep living in this pain. I can't keep letting this drag me down. So this is it. The hardest decision I've ever made. But it's the right one. It's done. The papers are filed, and we're officially headed for divorce. I never thought it would end like this, but here we are. The weight of it all is starting to hit me. This is really happening, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Megan didn't take it well, of course. She tried one last time to change my mind, but I've already made it. I can't keep looking over my shoulder, wondering when the next lie is coming. I can't keep pretending that things can go back to the way they were, because they can't. I didn't want this for us. I didn't want to break up our family, but she made that choice for me when she decided to cheat. She made the choice when she lied and betrayed everything we had. I didn't want to destroy our marriage, but the truth is, she did that when she went behind my back. I'm just the one who's finally facing it. Now, I'm just trying to get through the next steps. I've been talking to the lawyer, figuring out how to divide things up. We're not fighting about custody yet, and I don't think we will. She's been more concerned about her own guilt than anything else, and honestly, I'm not interested in dragging the kids through any more of this than I have to. I just want to figure out how to make this work without more damage. The kids, they don't know everything yet. I've been honest with them, just telling them that things are changing. I don't want them to feel like they have to choose sides or carry this weight. But I can see it in their faces. They're confused. Hurt. They don't understand why their mom and I can't just fix it. Every time they ask me when things are going to be back to normal, it's like a punch to the gut. I want to say, soon. We'll fix it. But I can't. We can't. I don't know how to move forward just yet. I don't know if I'm even ready to date again. I don't know if I can ever trust anyone the way I trusted Megan. But I do know that I can't keep living in a marriage that's already over. I'm still angry. Still hurt. But now, at least, I feel like I'm moving somewhere. The hardest part was realizing that the only way out of this was through the pain. That the only way to get past the betrayal, the lies, the heartbreak, was to finally face it head-on and let go. I don't know what comes next. But I know I'm finally letting go of what's been holding me back. And maybe, just maybe, that's the first step toward healing. I think I'm starting to find a rhythm, but it's slow. There are good days and bad days, like I was warned, but I'm finally starting to feel like I'm moving toward something. It's still hard. Hell, it's still a struggle. But I'm getting through it. One day at a time. Megan's been quieter lately. Not that she stopped reaching out. She still sends me long texts about how much she misses the family, how sorry she is for everything, but I'm not even reading them anymore. I don't have the emotional energy for it. She still hasn't fully grasped that I'm done. That this is it. But I don't owe her any more explanations. I've said what I needed to say. As for the kids, they've been adjusting to the new setup. They're with me half the time, and honestly, I think they're handling it better than I expected. They ask about Megan a lot, but I've been keeping things honest without dragging them into the details. They don't need to know everything, at least not yet. I can't imagine explaining infidelity to an 8-year-old. Or a 5-year-old. There are moments when it hits me though. Like when I'm tucking them in at night, and I see their little faces looking up at me with that confusion, that quiet sadness, as if they can tell that things aren't right but don't understand why. I try to stay strong for them, but it's hard not to feel like I'm failing them too. Like I'm the one who's broken their world. Megan's been distant since I filed for divorce, but I know that's just her coping mechanism. She's probably already trying to convince herself she didn't do anything wrong. I've heard the "we were growing apart" excuse one too many times. We weren't growing apart, she was lying to me, sneaking around with someone else. The least she can do now is take responsibility for that. I've been taking some time to focus on myself. I've started hitting the gym again, trying to get some energy back, trying to look after myself for a change. It helps. I feel stronger physically, which makes me feel a little stronger mentally. I'm also working on reconnecting with some friends I haven't seen in ages. Honestly, that's been the best part of all of this. I forgot how much I missed just hanging out, talking about dumb stuff, and not worrying about whether my world was going to fall apart at any second. There's still a lot of anger inside me though. Sometimes, when I think about what she did, it makes me want to scream. How could she do this? After everything we built together, after all the promises. It's hard to process that level of betrayal. I can't get past the fact that she just checked out of our marriage. She just threw it all away. But I also know I can't keep living in that anger. I can't keep holding on to that. It's not doing anything but eating me up inside. So, I'm trying to let it go. Trying. I'm not sure when I'll be ready to fully heal. Hell, maybe I won't ever fully heal. Maybe I'll always carry this with me. But for now, I'm taking it day by day. I'm moving forward, even if it's in small steps. Even if it's messy. One thing's for sure though, I'm never going back to the way things were. I've learned too much about who Megan really is, and about who I am in this new version of my life. I'm not the same person I was before. I'm stronger now, even if it doesn't always feel that way. I'm not sure what's next. I'm not sure I'm ready to start over or even try to date again. But I do know this, I'm starting to remember who I am, and that's something I thought I lost a long time ago. Maybe that's the first step towards something better. Or maybe that's just enough for now. It's been a few months now, and things are starting to feel different. Not better yet, but different. I'm finally starting to feel like I'm figuring out who I am again, outside of just being a husband and dad. It's like I forgot what it was to be just me, but I'm slowly getting there. The kids are adjusting. They miss Megan, of course. I can tell. They still ask about her sometimes, but I just keep it simple. I'm not lying to them, but I'm not dragging them through the details, either. I think they get it. They sense that things have changed, and they're not as naive as I thought. I'm not angry anymore. I spent months living in that rage, but now, I don't feel it the same way. The hurt is still there, but I'm not letting it control me. It's like a weight I've learned to carry without letting it crush me. Megan and I barely talk anymore. She still sends the occasional text, asking how I'm doing, trying to check in, but I don't respond. I don't need to. She had her shot to make things right, and now it's over. I've moved on. I'm focusing more on the kids, my work, and even getting back into things I'd forgotten about, stuff I used to enjoy. It's small steps, but it feels like progress. Dating? Not even thinking about that yet. Right now, I'm just figuring out who I am again, and that's enough. I don't know what's next. But for the first time in a long time, I'm walking forward, not looking back. And that feels like the right move. It's been a while now, and I'm starting to find some peace. The kids are adjusting better than I thought, and I'm starting to feel like myself again. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. I don't think about Megan as much anymore. I've stopped waiting for an apology or some grand gesture. She's gone, and I'm moving forward. The anger is gone. The hurt is still there, but I'm learning how to carry it without letting it define me. I'm focusing on the kids, work, and even some things I've put off for years. Slowly but surely, I'm starting to feel like I have a future again. Maybe it's just small steps, but it feels like progress. I'm not ready for anything new yet. No rush to date or figure out what's next. Right now, I'm just trying to be the best dad I can be and rebuild a life that's mine. That's enough for now. I don't know where I'm headed, but I'm finally headed somewhere. And that feels good. I've been thinking a lot lately about where I'm at now. It's hard to believe how much has changed in such a short time. I'm not who I was 6 months ago, and I'm not sure I ever want to be that person again. I'm not saying I'm some new version of myself, more like a refined version, if that makes sense. It's like the pain and betrayal have burned away a lot of the crap I didn't need, and now I'm left with what's real. And I'm okay with that. The kids are doing well. They still miss Megan, of course, and I can see it in their eyes when they ask about her, but they're adjusting. They're resilient. I'm proud of them, even if I wish none of this had happened in the first place. I've tried to make things as normal as possible for them. School, activities, time with their friends. They're still kids. I don't want them carrying my pain. As for me, I think I'm starting to believe that I can be happy again. I'm not rushing into anything, not trying to find someone new or patch things up with Megan. I'm just living. I've started doing things I used to love but hadn't made time for. I'm trying to be more present, whether it's with the kids or just taking a quiet evening for myself. It's small stuff, but it matters. I won't lie, there are days when I feel that old hurt creeping back in. The betrayal still stings sometimes, especially when I see how much my life has changed. But those moments don't last. I'm learning how to sit with the pain instead of running from it. And that's a huge step. Megan still texts now and then. She says she misses the family, wants to know how the kids are, but I'm not really interested anymore. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to wait for her to figure herself out. I've figured out that I'm enough on my own. And I don't need her to tell me that. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I do know I'm not stuck anymore. I'm not defined by what she did. I'm not defined by the wreckage of our marriage. I'm moving forward, even if it's slow. I've still got work to do, still got healing to go through, but at least I'm moving in the right direction. I'm starting to see the light again, even if it's just the smallest glimmer. I don't know what the future holds, but I know it's mine to shape. And for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with that.